Kathrin Mehling, cheers.
Megas.
I mean, yeah, there we are. I mean, after only meeting on the phone, right?
Yeah.
So far, we never met in person, right?
No, it's the first time, and it's my very own pleasure.
Totally likewise. I mean, and especially because the lovely thing is like when you visit all these winemakers that we work with. I mean, everybody always like wants to impress you, and you really did today. So thanks for bringing me here.
It's not me; it's just the vineyard, and I'm so glad to have you.
I mean, look at this, right? I mean, we are in Pfalz.
Yeah.
In Palatinate, you just said Forst is over there, right? And Deidesheim is there?
Deidesheim, my hometown.
So
just right in the sun. We are in the shadow, cooling down.
That's how it is. I mean, it's hot, right? I mean, the last days were hot. I mean, you are short before harvest, like maybe a week to go for the sparkling wine-based wines.
Yeah. Next week we are going to harvest our sparklings, the Pinots, especially the Pinot Noirs. Yeah. But I think at the end of this week we are already beginning to harvesting for our grape juice.
Okay, that's a grape juice.
Yeah. Non-alcoholic is a thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is a thing, and we definitely have to talk about that, and also like more about this beautiful wine site where we are standing, surrounded by forest, because you just said like yourself, it's maybe one that looks a little bit into the future. Yeah. Because with temperatures getting higher and higher, and vintage is getting more problematic. I mean, this is a story we hear from most German wine-growing regions. The middle wine is going to the side valleys. The Ahr is replanting the northwards facing slopes. Mosel, same shit.
Absolutely, yeah.
And in Palatinate, I mean, you have to find your ways too, right? And the middle hut and the forest that it provides is a great opportunity.
Absolutely. And I'm so lucky that we have so many single vineyards just next to the forest, so that we are the last parcel till the forest starts. So we have sun in the morning, but early shadows. And this is what we love to deal with, and which we're so happy to are. And by the way, this is our Riesling Sparkling Brut Natur from 22, and it's from Deidesheimer Paradiesgarten and Deidesheimer Kieselberg. Also two single vineyards which are quite close to the forest, but we did an earlier harvest as well at the end of August in 22 because it was quite hot year. And we made a spontaneous fermentation, also a spontaneous malolactic fermentation. We had it in the oak for like around about 1 year, and after that we did the tirage, and this is the last dégorgement, and we made this, I don't want to lie, in June. Beginning of June.
Beautiful. And just like when we were driving up here, like we had a little bit of like side passes to the left and the right. You were already like checking out after I said something wrong about sparkling wine, probably like, okay, what is this philosophy about sparkling wine? And I must have appeared like very critical. But as I just told you, I think it's beautiful. It's very delightful and balanced. Yeah, and what I told you before in the car, I really like it when the yeast is not pouncing you in the nose from the second fermentation, but it's more subtle, and you have clearly Riesling in the glass, and you feel the vintage. I mean, you immediately felt it is a warmer vintage, 2022, and then price point. I mean, I told you that you German winemakers, you have to learn to price your sparkling wines, but it's also like difficult, right? I mean, for what you charge for it for like end customers, I think it's fairly underpriced. But
thank you.
It's difficult. I know it's difficult.
It's really difficult, but we are on our way. So this is like the third vintage of Riesling Sparkling we made for our own. So we said, okay, let's start at a little point, and we are really focusing on more quality from year to year. And I hope that together with this, when the quality grows more and more, we can lift up the price.
Increase the price a bit, over time.
But I think we will still have to make us a name, if you can say so. And then when you have this, you can
But I think, honestly, it is just a typical sign for the German sparkling Sekt. I mean, it really came into fashion. The quality is really high for many producers, and there's a lot of like still very fairly lowly priced wine in the market. Even if you talk about the guys having a name, we just talked about Lena and Lena Macht, who's very hyped at the moment. I mean, her Mythos is €50 a bottle.
Yeah.
What is that for a prime sparkling wine? Champagne is like, laughing at us.
They are.
At the moment. Yeah, it's the moment. Kathrin, before we dive too much into wine technicalities and wine tasting and organic viticulture, which is definitely at your heart, and wine sites, let's start with our personal introduction. Because we want to give a little bit more profile into who you are and who the winery is. First question for you. If you wouldn't be a winemaker today, what would you do in life? Drinking wine for sure.
Drinking wine, listening to a lot of music, and I think I would be something in the music business, something there, because I love these are my two passions: music and wine, and this is what I did my finally work. And studies about like the marketing, how music and wine works together to getting new clients, to getting emotional content. And I think, I like this artificial thoughts of both of these subjects. Yeah.
And you play an instrument yourself? Or?
Yeah, I play a little bit of piano, but I love music, going to concerts, feeling the atmosphere there, listening to music a lot. And so I think, when I wasn't sure what to do after I finished my school, I was a little bit into the radio journalism thing. But then I focused on the future and I said, okay, having your own winery could be quite cool as well. So I switched to this subject.
And you play music to your wines?
In harvest, to be honest, I worked in a winery who did this, and I have it. It's important for us to have good music boxes in our cellar.
Okay.
And it's to the wine as a side track, but I think it's most for the working atmosphere there, because when you're having a nice groove and you're listening to good music and then the team is happy and you have a nice working atmosphere, nice balance, then everything is much more easier. And I think the wines are getting better by this as well.
I love that approach. I mean, winemaking should be fun too, right? I mean, it's a lot of hard work, especially in harvest season and in the early days of fermentation in the cellar. Yeah. So you have to make it as fun as possible, right?
Yeah, absolbly.
Many nights without sleep and.
Yeah, but it's worth it. We don't do it for the money.
Beautiful. So now you are a winemaker. You took over from your parents when?
Yep, from my mom. I took the winery from my mom in 2014.
2014, okay.
Yeah, so
it's now about 10, 11 vintages. You are totally in charge.
Yeah, absolutely. And since 10 years, my boyfriend, my partner in crime, Christoph, joins me in the winery, and we're doing this together. Now, at the moment, we are cultivating about 12 hectares, and we have a small little team, and the absolutely main grape variety is Riesling, with like 90%, almost 85, and totally focus on the single vineyards, and we are really lucky to have some nice single vineyards from Königsbacher Ölberg in the south, about Kalkofen, Petershöhle, which we are in, Paradiesgarten, Kieselberg, Leinhöhle, Moishöhle, Herrgottsacker, and in forest in the north we end with Forster Musenhang and Forster Ungeheuer. So for a small winery,
pretty big names in the portfolio. It's quite good actually. If you look back on these, like, let's say last 10 years, or maybe started even before, I guess, right? But looking back at these years of winemaking and coming to your parents' winery or your mother's winery.
Yeah.
So any experience or any person that comes to your mind who really influenced your style of winemaking and your philosophy?
I think it wasn't just one person. I think it was more like, over the years, a group experience with really nice wine characters. I had the chance to do a tasting with Angelo Gaia, with Herr Schwarz from Müller-Catois, with Andreas Schumann, and with a lot of young winemakers who are really uprising stars. And I think it's the connection to talk to each other, to talk about your experiences and also your problems. And I think this is the special thing about our generation, that we don't see each other in a
competition mode.
In a competition. We know if a bottle of Pfalz wine or of German wine is sold, it's good advertising for the whole region. It's good for all of us. And we are not like having just focused on your own thing. We are all looking, hey, what's going on the other side? What are they doing? And if you say, hey, here, I got a problem, they say, got the same one last year. Don't try this. It doesn't work. Do it like this. And I think it's these special little moments in which you're growing together, and you grow for yourself in winemaking. And so it changes from year to year, and you learn more and more. And I think this is a major point, that you don't stop learning, and to be interesting, and to look what's going up all around you.
I really like this perspective on it. I heard it from many young winemakers in the generation actually that say, okay, let's rather work together, right? Yeah, let's go on to the third question for you. As a young winemaker, if you describe yourself and your personality as a bottle of wine. So probably not a 70-year-old aged Riesling, I assume.
Thank you. Not that.
Doesn't sound like that.
To be like a little stereotype, I would define myself as a Riesling. Because sometimes a little bit edgy, but interesting, having many side aspects to see. And if you are willing to spend time with it, you also see quiet moments, interesting moments, and this special little tiny things, and sometimes some really stupid surprises.
What a beautiful and charismatic description. Nature.
Yep.
What does it
call for associations for you? I mean, we have a great panorama here, but what is nature for you?
Nature is everything. It is absolutely. It's our capital. It's the thing which we are based on, and it's the most important thing to be aware of. That we save it. That we cross this or try to cross this monoculture type to working with special seeds having so many flowers in it, deep-rooted plants, and getting the nature and the flora and the fauna back in the vineyard. This is what is winemaking about. I think it's at the moment, especially concerning to climate change, it's more important to plant between your rows, your wines, and it's much more important to have a healthy soil. If you could break nature down to soil, it's more important to work on the soil than to work on the grapes, because when you have a healthy soil, you automatically have healthier and more aromatic grapes. So this nature is where it's all based from.
I like this perspective, especially like looking at healthy soil leading to healthy grapes, and then like many say, if you have healthy grapes, you don't have to do anything in the cellar, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Wine makes
like
itself. You just have to control it a little bit that everything goes right, right? That being said, we heard a lot about your winery already, about Weingut Mehling. I mean, you are 12 hectares today, right? You have some great wine sites. You took over from your mother like 11 years ago. Run it today with Christoph, your partner in crime. And your little daughter, right?
Yep. Yeah,
absolutely.
2 years. Yeah.
Also like controlling a lot of the processes and sleepless nights. And your wine style, maybe in a nutshell, how can we describe it?
It's honest. And I think, honesty is the most important part, because our wine doesn't taste the same. When you have a hot year, we want you to taste a hot year. When you have a cool, rainy year, it's okay to have more acidity in the wines. We are not just doing organic viticulture on the paper. It's important for us that you can taste it. We want you to taste the year, the vintage, the soil. And this is what it's all about. It's different from year to year, and this is why, especially Petershöhle, where we are standing, it tastes totally different from year to year, and this is, what we made it for.
What do you want to work with too, right? And show like terroir and vintage and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. And now, I mean, we already are done with our glass of sparkling wine, right?
Yep.
But I mean, I pour you a little bit more.
Oh, thank you so much.
Of your own wine. I mean, I take the liberty. But while talking about it, right? I mean, you said 2022? Riesling, 100%. It's Brut Nature.
It's Brut Nature, zero dosage, from Deidesheimer Paradiesgarten and Deidesheimer Kieselberg. So we have a lot of red and yellow sandstone. And
speaking of sandstone, right? We took the liberty to take one here, so people can see like one of these like beautiful like stones that you work with, right? Yep. So that is a yellow sandstone that is so typical for the Pfalz.
Yeah, this is what we are standing here in Deidesheim for. Yep, absolutely. This is it, and it's it's famous for its special taste that it brings, especially to the Riesling, which is more the yellow and the red apple, more the peach, a little bit of orange, and but it's also important for our sparkling that we have this spiciness, a bit of anise, a bit of like Yeah, some darker herbs, a bit of white pepper. And yeah, 2002 was a warmer vintage, so it's much more opulent. It's much more yellow-orange than green.
now you say like darker herbs. I have Salvie in the nose actually, like Salbei. It's really kind of, honestly, I'm shocked before putting like a steak and like a Salvie marinade on the grill with it. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
No, really, it's kind of interesting because I told you before, it really shows this like, it shows I'm Riesling.
Yep.
And there's acidity structure, it has the backbone, it has the minerality of it. It doesn't hide behind some autolysis characteristics and something. It's Brut nature, but still like very approachable, which is kind of interesting because the acidity is quite high, right? And then zero sugar. Yeah, well, okay.
Yep.
It can offend some people, but I actually see this here as a very, very good example of making it drinkable. Also like to many, right? I mean, how's the perception of it by the general customer? Are they all like happy about it, or do you have people who think it's too dry?
No, it's, to be honest, nobody still said that it's too dry.
Okay.
The most people are surprised because when we have a lot of customers, when they think of Riesling sparkling, they think of some stainless steel acidity and the green apple in your face.
Yeah, of course.
And this is not what it is. Yeah, it's something totally different. And so they think, okay, this is much more smoother, much more deeper. And so most people are optimistically surprised.
I like the description. No, it's beautiful, absolutely. Sparkling getting more important for you.
Yeah, it's our second love beneath the single vineyards of Riesling. And at the moment we are doing like 2 sparklings. We make the Riesling sparkling and a Pinot, which is also Brut nature, made from Pinot Noir and Pinot Blanc. And yeah, so we are really lucky to can work with a nice colleague which does almost just sparkling, and where we can do whatever we want to. So we don't have to like filtrate it like this hard and put these yeasts on it. So we are just on our own.
That is, I think, something also like I took from Walking with You to the Cellar. I mean, fairly interestingly, you take a lot of liberty, right? Often, you get. We immediately began talking about like natural style of Riesling.
Yeah.
I mean, low intervention, spontaneous fermentation, letting it be on the lees and give it time to settle. And we immediately talked about, okay, you have some 2021 still like lying around and finding its place. I mean, I think it can take time with the 2021 to really find its place because it is a complicated vintage which produces great Riesling. But especially in the natural style and the low intervention style, it can be a little bit difficult. But you take the liberty to say, we take this time for the wines.
Yeah. We don't like to have this dogmatism that we say, okay, on the 1st of September, the große Lager has to be bottled. And no, the only one who says how it's going is the wine, not us. And this is what we communicate to our customer. So this is the reason why we don't have Foster Ungeheuer for like 1.5 years now, which is a bit pity, but it's like that. The wine is not ready, and the wine tells us when it's ready, and we don't want to have this doctrine. The wine says us when it's ready, and we have to wait, and then we taste again, and perhaps now the 23 vintage of Ungeheuer is coming, and 21 and 22 still staying in the bug.
I like this philosophy. I mean, I heard it like once from a elderly enologist from the Moselle who said like, before in time, winemakers had 2 tools. The first was a prayer, that everything goes well. And the second was time.
It's all about.
I think we really have to go back to this, right? Especially for this like minimum intervention style of Riesling. Now we talk so much about minimum intervention, but nonetheless your style is very clear, right? And this is also like something I think we have to underline a tiny bit. Now, the Säckinger are your neighbors, and you know probably like a lot of the other guys here around town doing like this like low minimum intervention style. If you talk about the young German generation and the low intervention style, it's not funky. You still produce extremely precise, clear, terroir-driven, grape-driven wines.
We have the potential here with the soil.
Yeah.
And this is what we want to show. So we don't want to have too much reduction, not too many oaky, stinky flavors, which are interesting. I don't want to shame these wines, don't get me wrong.
No horse stable.
No. But we have this opportunity to have these soils. We can say, okay, we have a Riesling from the basalt soil, and I would be happy if the wine would show it.
Yeah.
And we have a Riesling from the red sandstone, and we want to show every customer the difference between those two. And this is why we don't want to get too funky. We want to get the wines their own character and their freedom to develop it. And this is why we don't work with adding yeasts and stuff like that, but we want to have wines that show their origin.
Yeah.
And we are lucky to have this vineyards here, and this is what we are working on from year to year. And
So back after the short video interruption, I mean, that's a problem when the camera says, okay, too much space occupied.
Yeah.
Happens. So now we are back in motion picture, beautiful, but I didn't disturb, with a beautiful Riesling actually in our glass, right?
Yeah, this is the chance we got. We had time for a second wine. It's always time for a second wine, and now we are tasting 2022 in the Oberen Petershöhle, right where we are standing.
And as I just said, pretty 2022, you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, warm vintage. So it's pretty fresh and green and lively for that, right?
Yeah, absolutely is. And this is really special about this vineyard because of this special location, right, in the Palatinate forest. It's really important for us to get to know this single vineyard because, as you can see, we are surrounded by the trees. We have a lot of bees in the forest and a lot of deers, which we saw just a few minutes ago.
We were hitting some deers there. They were looking at us suspiciously a little bit. What are you doing here?
Why are you disturbing us? And
we were just eating your grapes, you know. I mean, why do you mind?
And so we are still getting to know this vineyard and the challenges it gave us. And in 22 we decided to harvest a lot more earlier, so we already went there in the mid of September. And of course handpicked surely, and thanks to our great team, just the best grapes, natural fermentation, spontaneous malolactic fermentation.
Yeah, you just told me also in the cellar that you have a really good malolactic culture running there, right? Which I think really suits also the style of the Rieslings quite perfectly, because they are not at all for this low intervention on the acidic side. So really balanced, really smooth, very approachable.
Yeah.
But still with so much depth and complexity that you just say put it away for 5 to 10 years and see what happens.
Yeah. This is the things we are looking for. Yeah, absolutely. And I like this silky texture it gets.
Silky is really nice descriptor for it. Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's beautiful. I'm really also what we tasted from the tank earlier was really inspiring actually. And you're, so to say, only halfway your journey, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it just goes on from here, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We are totally focused on the future.
So, I mean, naturally, we see you in Copenhagen. I mean, actually, what you told me today, what I didn't realize before, you are in Denmark represented by Lois Moser.
Yeah,
right?
That's right.
So big importer, actually. So if Danish people watch this, you can get the wines already at Lois Moser. Yep. How is Sweden, Norway going? Anything there yet?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward. We don't have any importers in Sweden and Norway yet, but I'm looking forward to. Would be great. Really would love that. We have an importer in Finland.
Finland, okay, yeah.
So
out of all
good.
places, interesting. Good, okay.
And this is already great to have, but we want to focus more on export in the future.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a nice thing. So we are much looking forward to have you in Copenhagen in January at the Cool Climate Summit, and being there with so many other of the young German winemakers, right? And lots of them organic certified, and lots of Bioland, Ecovine, Demeter members. You will be all placed in this big blocks that we call Germany Sustainable, to exactly tell this amazing stories that you have of not only working with the soil, working with the terroir, what you said earlier, from healthy soil to healthy grapes to healthy low intervention wine. Yeah, so people should definitely explore that, right? But if we round this off 5 years from now, where do we find you and the Mehling estate?
In 5 years from now, I think I want to focus more. I think we are already good focusing, but we want to focus more. Perhaps having less Riesling, but yeah, it's like when we're doing wines, we are really strict to ourselves. We always think, okay, this is good, but what could we have done better? And we are still working on this quality spiral to getting more pronounced, more special. Perhaps we want to get smaller but better in the quality. And what my opportunities, especially for our working situation, is I want to have like an easier working space, because our winery is really quite small, and it was perfect for like 7 hectares when my parents started, but at the moment we are like 12 hectares and everything grew, but our cellar didn't, and we are working with more and longer yeast time and having our wines longer in the barrels, and it's more like playing Tetris the whole year. And hopefully looking forward that we have the opportunity to get a separate working place where it's easier to work, but we want to focus with our single vineyards to staying in the old cellar where we have the yeast and we have the potential, and but hopefully to getting more organized with a better organization. To be honest,
it's probably like what most winemakers hope for, right? It's like we are better organized in 5 years.
We are working with our souls and our hearts and with our feelings, but not with our computer organization system.
I think this is a amazing closing remarks. So cheers to better organization, and see you in Copenhagen in January.
Yeah, I'm so looking forward. Thanks for having us.
Me too. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.